Well, it's Wednesday and today is a really, really special day because today we're releasing our 99th and 100th daily draw. So we started our daily draw on the 26th of March, and every weekday Elizabeth and I have been filming and producing these daily draw videos for you. This one, both this 99th and 100th one, the Winnie the Pooh ones, are really, really special. Winnie the Pooh floating off in a balloon was actually a lesson that I took around pretty much every primary school in Ayrshire right at the start when we were beginning the Little Art School. So it's a really lovely part of our Little Art School story, and that's why I wanted it to be our 99th picture. And the 100th picture, the Little Art School 100th daily draw, is Pooh, Piglet and Christopher Robin playing Pooh sticks. So I'm really hoping everybody does them both. And make sure you share them with us and say happy 100. I'm so excited about this. So I'm going to do this in my watercolour book, but I'm going to do it on watercolour paper. If you've got watercolour paper or the watercolour sketchbooks, you can do it on there. If not, and you've just got an ordinary piece of paper, do it on the ordinary piece of paper, but just be really careful how much paint you use. Now, this is my warm-up paper here, and I'm going to have just a little go on here with circles because you can see we've got lots of circles and curves here. So look at the difference if I press hard and hold close. And if I go lightly and only press lightly, and I'm really holding loosely, and that's what this is all about. It's a very sketchy drawing, this. It's all about loose, sketchy lines. So in your warm-up, what I want you to have a go at is just drawing really loose, sketchy lines like this, which is how we're going to get the effect that we're looking for on this drawing. So nice, loose, sketchy lines and circles on your warm-up today, and then let's move into our drawing. So I'm going to do the painting in my sketchbook, in my watercolour sketchbook, and the reason I can do it in this is because of the thickness of the paper. So even though it's got something on the other side, it'll still work, and it flips over. You can get these at our shops. And this is so precious to me, this drawing. I absolutely love it. So many happy memories of going around schools teaching children this. So we're going to start by thinking about where the middle of the page is, then come down slightly, just slightly, not much. I'm going to start with a really small circle. Now that circle, which I'm going to do very loosely like that, that is going to be Pooh's head. So it's important to get that right. Quite a small little circle. Don't worry about doing it 2 or 3 times. That'll even add to the effect. Now the next circle, before you start the actual, it's actually an oval. I want you to go up from the bottom like that. And then you need to think about it being on a very slight curve. So that you're thinking about, here I'll do it quite hard so you can see it. Think about that shape there. It's like a side bird if you're looking at it from the side. There we go, in, out, and then you're coming down with this oval like that. And it's about double the size of the head, and it's at that kind of angle. So there's the first 2 shapes. And then not exactly half, just come in a little way, and you're going to put in a small straight line. And above that straight line, go up few centimeters, and then just draw yourself a straight line like that. Really lightly, because we're going to rub that out. And this is going to just help us get the bottom of the balloon. So the balloon, it kind of curves up like that. It's not a circle, you see. We've got that curve up there, and we've got that curve there like that. And going straight up there with a dot, and now we're on a circle. So this is much less triangle and more of a curve, and I'm going to keep my grip really loose to get that. I'm actually going to take it out much further because I want it to be really rounded, this balloon. So don't worry about putting a mark in and then deciding it's not quite right, because actually this is all about lovely sketchy marks. I'm just going to rub bits of that out so you can see. I'll keep that line in the middle, and they're the marks you want to go for. So think about where you want that first shape, make sure you've got this second shape at an angle, and then the thing and a line and the balloon. And the balloon's not a circle, it's a rounded top and then coming down like that. Okay, let's get the shapes in. So all we're going to do now is rub out that line. So we've got our balloon like that, and we've got two little lines there at the bottom of the balloon. Right, let's come on to Winnie the Pooh now. So when you pause and look at the shapes, you'll see that that circle is in a red dotted. So working from the red dotted, you're just going to add some shapes. So we're coming up and down like that. That bit stays. We've got a little arm sticking up there. And then here, we want to put his arm holding on. And that coming down there. So you work in, when you pause it, really look hard at the red dotted line there, and we're going to rub that out. So then the arm comes round to about there. So if I rub these lines out now, can you see it's starting to look a lot more like Winnie the Pooh, I hope. Now his eye, your instinct is going to be to put it up there, but actually it's quite low down. It's there. We've got his nose coming round. We can rub that line out there. We don't have to change this body bit here coming round. All we do need to do is add a little leg, and it's just two lines and then a little line up. So there's that one leg. And here coming out there, we've got 1, 2, and a little one up like that. And the last thing is his ear, and his little ear sticks out there like that. And that's the second stage. So pause, keep looking at where that circle line is and just build around there. So if you look at where we're going to be aiming for now, here we've got these little lines and lots of shading in Winnie the Pooh. Now we don't need to put this in with our pencil because we're going to come back and do it with our pen at the end. But what I would like you to do at this stage is just put in the shapes for the bees, and it's a really simple shape. If I take my warm-up paper, you'll see all it is it's like a circle coming to there. And then what we'll do with our pen is we'll go like that, that, and that. But you're just doing them really small, and you don't need to do the wings and the top. You can if you like. And the stripes. Wings, top, stripes. I'm going to do 3 just there with the little bees. And I'm going to do 3 here. I love this picture so much, and I love Winnie the Pooh so much as well, which is why right at the start of the Little Art School, this is the one that we chose to take round to teach schools. And some of the children who were in P7 then in that first time, they're now leaving school, because Elizabeth was in P7 when it all started, and she's now just left S6. So it's, there we go, we'll put another one there. We've got one there, one there. Let's have another little one around here. You can see how easy these are. Just a little shape, 2 stripes, up and below, and I'm going to just do one more little one there, maybe a tiny weeny one there. Some little dots there to show little ones going off into the distance. Right, so you can see I've not put in all these shady marks here that you're going to see when you pause. And that's because we're going to paint it now, and then we're going to do that in pen. So let's get painting. Do some watercolor washes on this now, and you can see, any of you who've been with us for quite a while might notice how beautifully clean my palette is. That's because my business partner Melissa's just brought a new palette round for me. I'm very excited. So's Elizabeth, because the one I'd made such a mess of the other one. I think we both know that. Right, I'm going to start with a wash, and I want plenty of water in here and very, very little paint. So masses of water. Then I'm going to go into my blue. I'm going to touch my brush. That's all I did. Did you see that? Just touch it in. See, even that is quite a lot. Let's see, is that too dark for me? Yeah. Now, if you want to make watercolor lighter, you don't add white. You just add more water. So I'm going to add more water there. Let's have a go now. Oh, that's lovely. Right. So I've got my blue wash. And what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to go towards the balloon, but I am going to start at the top And I want to paint really quickly now, put this sky in. And if I go up and round to the balloon, really quickly what I will do is go and start lifting it out, because I want it to be very pale and to look as if there's clouds. Now to do the clouds, you can either put the paint in and then lift, or you could paint round it like that, or you could do a combination of the two. But this is pretty fast painting here. We're also going to go around Winnie the Pooh pretty carefully there, but don't worry about the bees. You can just go over the bees. So going around Winnie, we're going around the, we'll go over the bees, but what I might do is each time I'm just going to lift it like that. And if I'm starting to get lines there, I can just take a bit of water in. Oh dear, what a mess I've made there. Not sure where, I think that came from my hand. And then right down to the bottom, and we'll just join it up here like that. I love a nice watercolour wash like this. It's such a nice thing to do. Okay, and then once I've got the wash onto my page there, I am just going to lift clouds, because the whole point of the story was that, that's where I've gone wrong, was that Winnie the Pooh thought that he could disguise himself as a little cloud. Here we go, so I'll just take it off, some off like that. So we've got bits of blue. Especially I'm going to take the paint around from the balloon. Now what I'm going to do next is, into that blue wash there, I'm going to add a lot more blue, because I want it to be darker. So there we go. And a slightly different blue. So I'm going to go into this bluey purple here and add that. Let's see what I get there. Yeah, that's about right. And see, look at that effect there. That's not what we're looking for, but that's the kind of effects you can get with watercolour. So what I want to do here now is, with my brush, I'm going to put a bit of water just in the middle of the balloon. You'll see why. And then very carefully, I'm going to go around the edge. Now it's not merging into each other because I blotted it so that there's no wet paint around it. There we go. But I don't want it to be super solid blue. Look, can you see where I put the water there? See what's happening? So, and I actually want more water now to get this effect. Okay, so I've got the edge, and then I'm going to go like that to get that lovely effect of water. I'm actually going to lift a little bit out as well, making sure my tissues, I'm going to get fresh, artist's best friend as we call it at the art school. And I'm just going to lift a little bit of that out to get that effect. Go back in to try and neaten it up a little bit there at the edge. So that's the effect I wanted on the balloon. So round Winnie the Pooh, I think it's pretty much dry now. Let's have a little extra dry to make sure. I don't want the yellow to go. I'm going to take my brush, make sure it's completely clean. And I'm going to need a bit more water. I've actually run out of clean water, so I'm going to use my drinking water. Obviously, I will remember not to drink from it, Elizabeth, I promise. Right, okay, so I've put a little bit of water there, and then I'm going to go into my yellow. Even on my brand new palette, I've managed to mess it up very quickly. There we go. And I just want pure yellow here for Winnie the Pooh. I'm just taking lots of yellow onto my brush. But actually that's too lemony, and Winnie the Pooh is a really warm yellow, so what I'm going to do is add a bit of this orange to it. Let's see. Oh, that's exactly what I want. Okay, and now all I'm going to do is paint in Winnie the Pooh. And the lovely illustrations of Winnie the Pooh that you see, these really sort of traditional classic Winnie the Pooh, they have these very loose watercolour washes, and then what really makes them become recognisable is the pen marks. So we're going to let this dry and we're going to come back in and do pen marks. But what I am going to do is put a little bit of yellow. I'm just going to go straight into the palette with my small brush. And in the middle of every one of these little bees, I'm going to put a tiny spot of yellow. And now we're going to let that dry, and then I'm going to come back with my pen. So I've let it dry now, it's completely dry, and the key is to make sure it is. It won't work this next bit if it's not dry. So on the lovely Winnie the Pooh illustrations, what you'll see is that you've got these very loose, sketchy lines. So if I just show you that on the bit of, it's not about going to outline, it's about keeping your pen moving like that. Can you see the difference? Moving really quite fast. So I'm going to start here. Even that string coming down, I'm going to keep moving that, and I'm going to, so you're not going for neatness, you're going for this sort of sketchy look. And what I'm using here is just a black fine liner pen, and anything will do. If you've only got a biro, or a ballpoint works really well actually for this, but a fine liner's pretty good. Now what we're going to do to put a bit of shading in is just lots and lots of little lines coming down there like that, and cross over a few of them. So we've got, that's the balloon done. And for Winnie the Pooh, again, we're not outlining carefully, we're keeping the pen moving really nice and fast there like that. And we're doing a bit of shading, and you'll see when you can either pause it on the colour one, or you can go back to the step 3 one where it shows you all the little marks there. I'm going to go a bit darker there around the face, and a little bit there for shadows, and a little bit there. So as we come in to his body here, make sure you pop in his legs. So you can see my pen's just working really fast and loose, and there's nothing difficult about this. It's just about being a little bit brave. Maybe have a practice first on your scrap paper before you start with these movements, but it is just about, and in his body we've got quite a few lines there, and this bit's obviously more shady, so we've got more shady lines there, and that's Winnie the Pooh done. Maybe a few little lines there as well. Now for each of the bees, we're going to go round them, put in the wings, put in the legs. So all of them, I'm going to do this really quickly, you can take more time, but you really want to keep your marks quite sketchy. So colouring in there, wings and legs. And all of them are the same. Get the point in. You've got that tiny bit of yellow paint around it to make it look quite effective. And I really hope you have enjoyed doing this one. Have a go at the junior one, because the senior one is Pooh Sticks. And if you've got some time, take your time and sit and really enjoy drawing it. All of you will be able to do it. We've split it right down, and it is our 100th daily draw. So make sure you do it. Write in and send your pictures in the comments. We're desperate to see them. We hope you really loved the Winnie the Pooh today, and thank you for all those of you who've been with us through 100 daily draws. It's amazing, and actually I feel like we've made all these artist friends with our little art school family, and you guys sitting at home drawing and painting. We've loved it. We've loved seeing your pictures. Make sure you send them to us. We've got a few weeks left before the summer term ends, so let us know what you want for our 100+ daily draws.